Hello, everyone. This is David Arkenstone. Welcome to Musical Tales from the Bamboo Room, where each week or so, I'll share some things about my musical life, instruments and what I use to make my music, my recorded works, current events, what I'm up to, other interesting topics, and I hope to have occasional guests to discuss their own musical journeys that also sometimes overlap with mine. So here we go. Hi again, everyone. Thanks for joining me. As anyone who knows me, and even those who don't know me, realize that I'm a huge J.R.R. Tolkien fan. I have been since I was about 15 or 16, when I first read the Lord of the Rings trilogy. In some ways, it opened me up to a world that I had not even known existed. I think what struck me about it was the characters and the story and the setting, just all of it. I read it cover to cover, twice in a row, initially. In some ways, it just changed my life in a way of being able to appreciate literature that I had not even known existed. So the natural thing for me later was to be inspired by it to make some music. In 2002, I did an album called Music Inspired by Middle-earth, which was my initial take on trying to illustrate some of the parts of the book that I really enjoyed and I felt I could bring something to. A lot of people enjoyed that album. So 20 years has gone by, and now I feel like I'm a better composer. I feel like I can illustrate the ideas that are in my head better. So I thought I would tackle another version of my inspiration from Lord of the Rings. And now we have Music Inspired by Middle-earth, Volume 2. It's sort of a continuation of the first one. I chose moments in the books that I felt like I could illustrate in a meaningful way. I started by trying to set the scene with The Shadow of the Past, which is the name of the first chapter in the book. I wanted to do sort of a setup song where people could hear it and get an idea of what the album might sound like. Then we move on to The Green Dragon, which is a pub, of course, in Hobbiton. And I just wanted to write a fun song that you might hear at a pub like that. That song is also something that my granddaughters really get a kick out of. I then moved on to a song called Daughter of the River, which was about Goldberry, who's sort of a river nymph. Goldberry and Tom Bombadil seem like they have an idyllic, beautiful life together, and I just wanted to make a song that reflected that. Then we come to The Light of Imladris, which is where the elves reside. And elves in Middle-earth are just a magical race. And it was challenging to come up with some sounds that would sort of do them justice. But I think I got something that said what I wanted it to say. And next we kind of take a little darker turn where we're in Moria and Gandalf is at the bridge of Khazad-dûm fighting the Balrog. And that was a piece that was difficult to write, especially because it's on a music album and you don't want to go too dark, but you want to have some contrast. And as I was writing all these pieces, I felt like I was reliving reading the books and actually being in the story. It was pretty exciting. I also did the music because I know there's a lot of people who like to sort of follow me on my journeys, and I could make sort of a soundtrack that would reflect the experiences of reading the books. And that was a pretty cool thing. And as I said in the liner notes, when I read, I hear music, so this is how it turned out. And then there's a couple pieces like Caras Galadon and Fangorn Forest that just kind of illustrate some of the locations in Middle-earth through my eyes and mind. And then there's a moment in the Fellowship where they come upon the Argonath, the giant pillars of the kings, and that was something I knew I really wanted to tackle. I really wanted to come up with something that mimicked the sound of a river and then had a moment of epicness, I guess you'd call it. Then I did a song called Shadowfax and the White Rider because I like doing music that illustrates running horses, and Shadowfax was such an important character, and Gandalf and Shadowfax were inseparable for a while, and that was the first single that we released from the album. And another song that I really felt that I locked into some inspiration was The Forbidden Pool, which is in Ithilien, sort of idyllic place in Gondor. And then we come to the Houses of Healing, which to me is a super special place in the book where we see Tolkien writing about love of Éowyn and Faramir as they're healing from their war wounds. That chapter has always stuck with me, and so I wanted to try to do a little soundtrack for that. One thing I'm super excited about is not only did this recording come out on CD, but it's also on LP. And those just came in recently, and I'm very excited about that because it has a beautiful cover by a gentleman named Robert Zigo, who I found on the internet, of course. I think his art resonated with the music I created in an incredible manner. He did 3 or 4 really beautiful paintings, and when you have the LP in your hand, it reminds me of the old LPs I used to get that had a gatefold, and you open it up and it's just, you have a lot to look at and read, and it's really fun. I encourage everybody who's into vinyl to go check out that album because it's really beautiful. I can tell from comments and messages that people really enjoy this record. It's kind of a fan favorite, and we play some of the songs live, which is really fun. something that makes the LP exciting for me is that my son Dash did an etching for side 4 because there was too much music for just one LP, so we had to do 3 sides. And he did an etching on side 4, and it's super cool. Middle-earth has just been a place for me to go, sort of to meditate. I try to read the books at least once a year, and it still transports me even though I know everything that's going to happen. So thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. And you can join the Arken fan community on Facebook and follow me in all the usual places. And go to my website, davidarkenstone.com. I'll see you next time, and take care.